Good evening, I'm back after a 5-month hiatus. The studio is still not completed. This is the fourth and final renovation coming up, but I can't wait any longer. I'm going to start getting the videos out and let it be what it may. Good to be back. The first time in American political history, the Speaker of the House was removed, and it was by their own party. Representative Kevin McCarthy, District 20, which is two and a half hours from where I live, in Kern County, Bakersfield, Fresno, a couple other counties, King County, Tulare County, and the balance of power. I'll put the screenshot up here so you can take a look for yourself. It's still razor thin. Okay, right now there's 221 Republicans, 212 Democrats, there's 2 vacant. Okay, and the knee-jerk reaction on every side, it's like a 5-way gang fight. You got the Republicans, the 2-way between the hard right and the moderates are fighting and calling each other names, accusing each other of bad things. Then you got your Democrats who just love this chaos because this benefits them, and I'll get to that in a second. You got on one side of the independents don't know what to do. They throw their hands up in the air. On the other side, you can split that in another half. So I guess it's a 6-way fight, and it's not good for us, not good for the country. And I'm on Newt Gingrich's side. He had the job for several years, for several terms, in the late 1990s, and during a Democrat administration, the Bill Clinton administration. And why I listened to Newt Gingrich, I thought he was extremely effective as Speaker of the House. And it was the Republican Congress of those years, in 1996, 1998, that passed the last balanced budget this country had. And Bill Clinton gets the credit for it. He did sign it into legislation. He could have vetoed it. He threatened to veto it, but he didn't. Bill Clinton, say what you may about him, he has not much to do with this video, but I got to mention it while I was in my train of thought. There's no script here. He was an extremely astute politician, as Barack Obama was. Just because they're Democrats and they're liberal and they go along with these harebrained schemes and do away with the nuclear family, and now we're going to do away with gender, we're going to do away with everything and let the border just wide open and people vote Democrats, just let them in. This demographic engineering is a form of treason to me, and they all should be hung until dead. But the more it goes, it's like the game Othello, a little board game, or you play the game of war with a deck of cards, and one side starts getting all the face cards, they're going to win. And that's what they're doing, destroying this country. But Bill Clinton was astute. He knew that he had to sign that legislation to get that balanced budget, and that he could take claim for it. And so we don't really care about who gets credit. I just wanted to point that out. But they're very astute with everything that they do. These are the smartest people on the planet, and they're working the American people like American sheeple. 99% of people just fall for anything, the first thing they see, the first knee-jerk thing that they can do. They don't think things through, okay? And I think this Matt Gaetz guy, he sided with the Democrats, okay? It was 8 Republicans, the hard right Republicans, voted to get McCarthy out. Now I'm going to take it back to January 3rd when this crap was first starting, but Hakeem Jeffries only lost by 4 votes. He was 4 votes away on round 16 to getting the gavel. Okay, they all are going to vote for, all the Democrats are going to vote for Hakeem Jeffries. There was a few Republicans that voted not present. I think one guy retired. I think one guy passed away. But I'm here to tell you, Matt Gaetz is playing with fire. They're off for another week. They took off for another week, which really galled me. I couldn't believe I heard that. Now, my reasoning of why this is a bad idea, I'm agreeing with Newt Gingrich, but with every point he's made, but this is coming from people like us. You can go to Fox News, you can go to CNN. I got a good article from CNN about what's happening to Nancy Mace, who was one of the 8 hard right people. Now she's getting threats. They're threatening to cut her funding off, blah, blah, blah. Well, now she's realizing there's consequences for her actions. Okay? And I'm not saying that retaliation is right either. It's bad for the country to do this, what they did. If they were going to get rid of McCarthy in the first place, they needed to do it in January when they had 15 rounds of voting. I believe there's only 3 times in American history that went round and round and round to get a Speaker of the House. I think in 1919 they voted to remove somebody, but the resolution failed by 1 or 2 votes. In 1848, 1849, and 18-something, until they finally got a Speaker of the House. It was a couple hundred rounds of voting, and when they finally made some deals and got the guy in there. Okay, but this is unprecedented to actually remove the Speaker of the House, who had actually done the job that Newt Gingrich would have done, that I would have done as well. Okay, one of the things that McCarthy kind of tied along with us, okay, he was facing the appropriations bill, and this funding for the Ukraine is a big stickler, okay, and he stalled and bought some time, okay, try to get some more people across the aisle, say, what's going on here, and it was working. Now we got some Democrats saying, you know what, I'm not so sure we should keep spending all this money. And Zelensky, like the thug that he is, doesn't even come in a suit and tie. He comes in this green fatigue. He dresses worse than me, begging us for more money. Okay, he's going to continue to beg us for more money until they stop it. Okay, and there's only one man I know who's going to stop it the first day he ever steps in that office, and that's Donald Trump. And I'll talk about Donald Trump in a second. But this is a bad idea, and it's not just Newt Gingrich. Okay, I'm here to tell you that's not being talked about on none of these channels for a couple days now. I've watched every show there is. None of them is talking about Hakeem Jeffries getting the speakership. Okay, every Democrat's going to vote. I just had the screenshot up here. There's 212. He's got 212 votes in his pocket, and he knows it. Okay, there's 221 Republicans and 2 vacant. Okay, if 9 of these Republicans say present, and it's 212 to 212, guess what? Hakeem Jeffries is going to get the Speaker of the House. We can't have no more than 8 to vacate. We got to have, or say just present. We got to have everybody on the red side vote for whoever we're going to nominate. But one of the concessions that Matt Gaetz made during that 15 Republican mutiny that they had back on January 3rd was, well, we don't want a quorum with 5 people to remove the Speaker of the House for any reason or no reason. We want 1 person. And I guess they had Kevin McCarthy in the corner. He acquiesced to that to get the 16th round going where they would vote for him and they would get the gavel. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's how it happened. If I'm not correct, leave it in the comments below. But I'm here to tell you, even Donald Trump had to get up here, and I'm going to quote, I'm going to put a screenshot, and I'm going to quote Donald Trump on his Truth Social. Quote, why is it that Republicans are always fighting among themselves? Why aren't they fighting the radical left Democrats who are destroying our country? That was on October 3rd, the day this happened. It's our 25 winning anniversary, too. It's not good. So it's a day we'll never forget. But Newt Gingrich is correct. He had the Speaker of the House job for a couple terms. These 8 people, okay, and they are Matt Gaetz, Eli Crane, Nancy Mace, Tim Burchett, Andy Biggs, Matt Rosendale, Ken Buck, and Bob Good. Now, I knew that Andy Biggs, I believe he's from Arizona, there were some problems with him being a rhino in the first place, and he's been able to sweep stuff under the rug and get out of it and maintain his seat. Okay, but Arizona's is turning blue, and a lot of shenanigans in Arizona with the illegals voting and everything else, and the Kerry Lake mess and everything. And now that the governor of Arizona stepped down for some unknown reason, we don't know what happened. I got my suspicions, but I shouldn't speak on suspicions. But I'm here to tell you that these 8 Republicans, they will forever be branded as a rhino, including Matt Gaetz, who had the perfect score on my website for rating politicians. I had Matt Gaetz at the top level you could get for how he handles himself during these congressional hearings. I mean, he really holds their feet to the fire and gets information out and makes the Democrat nominees look like buffoons that they are. And he was good and very effective at that. But here's the thing. Matt Gaetz has been hobnobbing with AOC and other Democrat radicals in his optics of, I can reach across the aisle, I can work with anybody. But what I'm afraid of, it's happened. I can't prove it, but this is my gut feeling. Matt Gaetz is only 41 years old, okay? He got in politics early in life like Joe Biden did. But just because he's been in for a few terms doesn't mean he really knows how things are being steered or manufactured or framed in certain ways. Steered, manufacturing, and being framed in certain ways. That's critical. I'm sure AOC and his Democrat so-called cohorts, it'll be okay if you just do it this way. People will forgive you. It's okay. You just do what you need to be done. And they're encouraging Matt Gaetz to stand up and make this firebrand stand here. And it was the wrong time. And his timing, it's like he kept going back and forth. Do I do it or not? Do I do it or not? And then he could have done this in August. And then they went on their 22-day hiatus. I mean, the timing, a half-baked, okay, let's just go ahead and do it. And without much further thought. This is not well thought out, my friends. Kevin McCarthy may have some problems, and I'm not defending him because he's our rep here in District 20 here in California. It's not why I'm defending Mr. McCarthy. He had the experience. He had done the job. He had worked out appropriations bills. My wife asked me, she said, well, I thought Mr. McCarthy avoided the government shutdown. Well, yeah, that's true. The news, if they don't sign this appropriations bill within a few days, we got 5 days. They were starting to do a countdown like they used to do when the House was in charge before. And they blame the Republicans. The left and the blue team uses government shutdowns as a weapon against the red, the right, against the Trumpers, against MAGA. And that's what they do. Their policies are so bad and they're so ineffective for the rest of the country, but if they keep beating down on the right, and the right doesn't like to fight back. Okay, they're trying to be polite. Well, I'll get to that either this video or another day. Mr. McCarthy had the fortitude. He was astute enough to see that. And he goes, we need to reach across the aisle. I'll fight it this time, but there'll be no more. The next rounds, he put it off to November 17th. So got us going for the federal government. Okay, that gets the military paid. That gets the Border Patrol paid. That gets the Civil Air Patrol paid. That gets the Merchant Marine. My dad was Merchant Marine for 41 years. That gets them paid. It gets the federal firefighters that work in the federal building areas, the D.C. and districts around the country. It keeps civil service going. It keeps the Department of Commerce going. It keeps the government accounting office. I mean, the funding is critical to keep it going. No one likes shutdowns, and the economy grinds to a halt. McCarthy, in my opinion, and as well Newt Gingrich, felt that McCarthy did the right thing. Okay, he could have had a thing where he'd signed for one whole fiscal year, because a fiscal year from this is not. I don't have a script. I used to work for civil service. Okay, the fiscal year for the federal government is October 1st, October 1st. McCarthy could have said, well, we'll just go into the 2024, October 1st, but he didn't. He framed it just right, where it's November 17th was not that, that's 5 weeks away. McCarthy's also on board with this stop getting money to Ukraine. And that's a big thing from Matt Gaetz. You know, he goes, well, if McCarthy was really on our side, he'd stop it. That's good and true, but Dick Morris, who is the Tom Brady of political analysts, says this is not the time to fight this fight. You couldn't fight the fight back in January or February. Why do it now? Donald Trump, Dick Morris, and Newt Gingrich, okay, 3 heavyweights in the Republican Party. I know Dick Morris used to be a Democrat. He was Bill Clinton's presidential advisor for 7 years, and Hillary wanted him to work for her, and he said no after she called him a Jew. Those 3 people all said that we needed to focus on Joe Biden and the investigations, the corruption. We needed to stop the money going to Ukraine. Need to focus on the economy. Need to keep the trains running. The Buttigieg, wherever it is, drop the ball. We had to focus on the border and getting us out of this World War III thing and watching Taiwan. I mean, many, many more issues are more important than Matt Gaetz' hatred of Mr. McCarthy from District 20 in California. I'm sorry, Matt Gaetz, and I can't keep you at 100 anymore. I got to knock you down the totem pole a lot. You're not putting your country first. You're putting your personal hatred as the mechanism with encouragement by people that are not our friends and are not your friend either, but you're 41. You don't understand that yet. They're steering you because you're brave enough and tough enough and got the cojones enough to do something like this. But that doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. The timing couldn't have been worse. Joe Biden is finally getting investigated. Hunter Biden is finally getting investigated. They're redoing all these. This is the 3rd time they've had to go back to the Department of Justice. Joe Biden's Justice Department with Merrick Garland getting on 60 Minutes and lying and saying there's no 2 sets of standards. And of course the Sheeple are going to believe that. And he's a good talker. He wanted to be Supreme Court Justice. You got to be a good talker to get those kind of jobs. And Garland's, like him or not, he's a good talker. Some of us know he's full of it, but he talks to his base. He does what Joe Biden does. He talks to his base. No inflation. And the people all were happy. But the other side of the country is hurting. Donald Trump and Newt Gingrich, the former Speaker of the House, and Dick Morris. This was not the right thing to do. Don't do it at all. It gives the Democrats more ammunition. They're going to beat us on the head between now and the election next November. Oh, you can't even govern among yourselves. And while I'm thinking about this, like I told you, I don't have a script. Matt Gaetz is actually fundraising off of this too. I'm going to do something to fix our House of Representatives, but I need your help to keep funding with something. And he's fundraising off of this. I know it's legal. I understand all that, but the optics again. This is where Donald Trump comes in. It looks, and of all people, Donald Trump says, "Hey, this doesn't look good." I mean, for Donald Trump to say that doesn't look good. That's all to contradict his own self. I mean, for the Donald. Everything is about image. Dresses well. He doesn't smoke. He's never smoked a cigarette in his life. He doesn't drink. You know, his brother Fred, whoever, died as alcoholic. You know, he had a lot of personal qualities that are endearing to a lot of Americans, and they respect him for that. He's not the chain-smoking Barack Obama, trying to sweep things under the rug like the little thing happened at Martha's Vineyard this year with the cook that got killed or died or took a fentanyl overdose, whatever it was. Okay. You're not going to hear that in Mar-a-Lago. You're not going to hear about that with Donald Trump. The left is hammering him since the day he went down that escalator, and we all know that. Why? Why does that keep happening? I'm going to cover that in the next video. I'm trying to keep my videos short. I'm here to tell you I'm on board with the smarter Republicans, the moderate Republicans. Okay, I tell people I'm hardcore, but I guess maybe I'm not hardcore. But the hard right has let America down. The hard right actually joined forces with the Democrats to do this. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.